Ladies, let me tell you something. There are some things you just cannot do when dealing with a man. And I'm not saying this because I think I know everything. I'm saying it because I've seen it, I've heard it, and trust me, I've lived it. If a man wants you, he will show you. He will call, he will text, he will make the effort. It really is that simple. Women often find themselves chasing after a man who is giving them nothing but mixed signals, yet they convince themselves that if they just try a little harder, send one more text, show a little more interest, he'll finally wake up and see what he has in front of him. But that's not how men work. A man is a hunter by nature. When he sees something he wants, he goes after it. Think about how men behave when they want a new car, a new job, or tickets to their favorite game. They'll research, plan, strategize, and do whatever it takes to make it happen. If he's not doing that for you, it's because he doesn't see the need to. A man who wants you will move mountains, not make excuses. Women often make the mistake of thinking that persistence will change a man's mind. They believe if they just show him how loyal they are, how much they care, how much they're willing to give, he'll eventually see their worth and step up. But the truth is, men don't operate that way. They don't fall for a woman because she proves herself to him. They fall because something about her makes him want to prove himself to her. That's the difference. When you chase a man, you flip the natural order of attraction. Instead of him seeing you as the prize, he sees you as something that's too easy to obtain. And what happens when something comes too easy? People don't value it. When a man doesn't have to work for you, he won't appreciate you in the way he should. And even worse, he'll start to feel like he's doing you a favor by giving you his time. Many women struggle with this because they confuse effort with interest. Just because a man replies to your text doesn't mean he's into you. Just because he answers your calls doesn't mean he wants a relationship. And just because he spends time with you doesn't mean he sees a future with you. Men will entertain attention even when they have no intention of committing. It's not about what he allows you to do for him. It's about what he's willing to do for you without you having to ask. If a man likes you, you won't have to analyze his actions. You won't have to wonder why he takes hours to text back. You won't have to guess if he's into you or not. A man who wants you will make sure you know. He will be intentional. He will initiate. He will make plans. He will pursue you with clarity, not confusion. Women have to learn the power of stepping back. When you stop chasing, you give yourself the chance to see a man's true intentions. If he notices your absence and steps up, that tells you something. If he disappears and never looks back, that tells you everything. Chasing a man often comes from a place of fear that if you don't put in the effort, he'll lose interest. But the truth is, if a man loses interest because you stop doing all the work, he was never really interested in the first place. A real connection doesn't require one person to do all the heavy lifting. A real connection flows naturally, effortlessly, because both people want to be there. When you chase, you rob yourself of the opportunity to be pursued in the way you deserve. You settle for breadcrumbs when you should be receiving the whole loaf. You waste time on someone who isn't choosing you when you could be making space for someone who will. Letting a man take the lead doesn't mean playing hard to get. It means respecting yourself enough to let the right man show up for you. It means understanding that your value isn't determined by how much you can do for someone who won't even lift a finger for you. It means knowing that love should be reciprocated, not begged for. A man who is serious about you will never put you in a position where you have to question where you stand. He won't let you feel like an option. He won't make you chase him down just to get the bare minimum. He will pursue you. He will be consistent, and he will make his intentions clear. Women deserve to be loved with certainty, not convenience. And the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop overextending yourself for someone who isn't giving you the same energy, is the moment you make room for the right kind of love to find you. When a man shows you who he is through his actions, believe him. Too many women find themselves making excuses for a man's bad behavior, trying to justify why he does what he does instead of holding him accountable. They tell themselves that he's just stressed, he's just going through a phase, he didn't really mean it, or that he'll change once things settle down. But the truth is, bad behavior doesn't fix itself. And the more you excuse it, the more you allow it to continue. A man knows what he's doing. He knows when he's treating you poorly. He knows when he's being inconsistent, dismissive, or disrespectful. He's aware of it. But if you let it slide, he will keep doing it because there are no consequences. When you accept his bad behavior, you teach him that he can get away with it. He sees that you'll tolerate it. So he has no reason to stop. Some women believe that if they are patient enough, loyal enough, or understanding enough, the man will eventually realize what he has and start treating them better. They think that by sticking around, they're proving their love and commitment. But in reality, they are only proving that they will put up with things they don't deserve. A man will never wake up one day and say, "Wow, I've been treating her terribly, but she stayed anyway, so now I'm going to change." That's not how it works. Change only happens when a person sees a real reason to change, and that reason is almost always a consequence of losing you, facing boundaries, or realizing that their actions have real effects. Making excuses for a man's bad behavior is a dangerous cycle. It starts small, a canceled date, a forgotten promise, a rude comment, but then it escalates. What you let slide today will become the standard for tomorrow. If he realizes that he can disrespect you once and you'll forgive him without requiring change, he will do it again. If he sees that he can ignore your feelings and still have access to your time, your energy, and your love, he will continue to do so. Every time you accept less than what you deserve, you lower the bar for what you expect. Many times women rationalize a man's mistreatment by looking at his past. They say, he had a rough childhood, his last relationship hurt him, he's just not used to love like this. While those things may be true, they do not excuse bad behavior. Everyone has a past, everyone has struggles, but it is not an excuse to treat someone poorly. The right man will take responsibility for his actions regardless of what he has been through. Another common mistake is mistaking a man's potential for who he really is. Women see glimpses of goodness in a man, and they hold on to those moments, convincing themselves that he is capable of being better. They tell themselves that if they just love him enough, support him enough, wait long enough, he will eventually become the man they see in those rare moments. But potential is not reality. A man's consistent actions define who he is, not the version of him that shows up once in a while when he wants to keep you hooked. A relationship should not be a battle where you are constantly fighting for the bare minimum. It should not be a place where you have to shrink yourself, silence your needs, or pretend that things don't bother you just to keep the peace. A real relationship is one where both people are respected, valued, and treated with care. A man who genuinely wants to be with you will want to treat you right. He will want to make you feel secure. He will not put you in a position where you have to defend him to yourself or to others. Women have to stop making excuses and start recognizing patterns. If a man repeatedly disappoints you, hurts you, disrespects you, or takes you for granted, it is not an accident. It is a pattern, and patterns don't change unless something forces them to. When you keep excusing his behavior, you remove the need for him to grow, And instead of improving, he becomes more comfortable treating you exactly how he wants. One of the biggest mistakes women make in relationships is thinking they can change a man. They see his flaws, his bad habits, his lack of ambition, his emotional unavailability, and instead of accepting him as he is or walking away, they take it on as a personal project. They believe that with enough love, patience, and effort, they can mold him into the man they want him to be. But the reality is, a man will only change if and when he decides to. Women often fall in love with potential. They see glimpses of the man he could be, and they hold on to that vision, convincing themselves that if they just stay long enough, if they just support him enough, if they just prove their loyalty, he will eventually step up. But potential is just that, potential. It is not a guarantee, it is not a promise, and it is not something you can force someone to live up to. A man has to want that growth for himself. No amount of nagging, encouragement, or sacrifices on your part will make a difference if he doesn't have the drive to change on his own. Some women convince themselves that they are helping a man by pushing him to be better. They take on the role of a coach, a mentor, or even a mother figure, constantly trying to guide him in the right direction. They tell him what he should be doing with his life, how he should be handling his responsibilities, how he should be treating them. But a man does not want to be raised by the woman he's with. If he is not internally motivated to improve, then anything you try to force on him will only build resentment. He will either feel controlled and pull away, or he will pretend to change just enough to keep you around, only to go back to his old ways the moment you stop pushing him. A lot of women ignore red flags in the hopes that they can fix them later. They see that he's emotionally distant, that he has commitment issues, that he's irresponsible with money, that he lacks ambition, that he treats them inconsistently, but they brush it off because they believe that with time, love, and patience, he will become the man they need. But a man's core character does not change just because someone loves him. If he is not showing you the qualities you want in a partner right now, what makes you think he will develop them later? Many women think that if they endure enough, if they prove their worth, if they stick around through all his mistakes, he will eventually recognize their value and change for them. But men do not change for women. They change for themselves. A man will not suddenly become responsible, loyal, emotionally available, or ambitious just because you want him to. He will only change if he sees a reason within himself to do so. Another dangerous belief is thinking that suffering through a man's worst behavior will earn you a reward in the end. Some women hold on to toxic relationships thinking, I've already been through so much with him, I can't leave now. They believe that if they endure long enough, he will eventually wake up, see how much she's done for him, and finally treat her right. But staying through mistreatment does not increase your value in his eyes. It decreases it. If a man knows that you will tolerate anything, he has no reason to improve. He will not wake up one day and say, she's stuck through all my disrespect, now I'm going to treat her like a queen. That's not how it works. A man must want to grow. He must have a personal desire to become better, not just for you, but for himself. If that desire isn't there, then no amount of effort on your part will make a difference. You cannot love a man into his potential. You cannot sacrifice yourself into making him whole. You cannot convince him to want more for himself than he already does. The best thing a woman can do is accept a man exactly as he is in this moment. Not who he could be, not who he might be one day, but who he is today. If who he is today is not enough for you, then you have a decision to make. Stay and accept him as he is, or walk away and find someone who already embodies the qualities you need. But waiting, hoping, and working to turn him into the man you want will only lead to disappointment. Too many women settle for less than what they deserve because they are afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, or afraid that no one better will come along. They accept inconsistent effort, broken promises, lack of commitment, and bare minimum behavior, convincing themselves that it's enough. But when you accept less than what you deserve, you teach a man that he doesn't have to give you more. You show him that you will stay no matter how little effort he puts in. A man will only treat you at the level you require. If you allow disrespect, inconsistency, and dishonesty, he will continue to give you those things because there are no consequences. If you don't demand better, he has no reason to step up. It's not about whether he can treat you right, it's about whether he has to. A man will do only what you allow. If he knows you will tolerate last-minute plans, ignored messages, excuses, and half-hearted love, then that's exactly what he will give you. Women often make the mistake of thinking that if they love a man enough, if they are patient enough, if they prove themselves enough, he will suddenly realize their worth and start treating them right. But that's not how it works. A man does not suddenly wake up one day and decide to be better just because you waited around for him. If he didn't value you from the beginning, your loyalty won't change that. When you accept less, you start convincing yourself that it's normal. You adjust your expectations. You make excuses for why he doesn't call, why he won't commit, why he treats you like an option. You tell yourself that maybe you're asking for too much, that maybe this is just how relationships are. But love should not leave you feeling unimportant. Love should not leave you questioning where you stand. The right man will not make you beg for the bare minimum. Some women lower their standards because they don't want to seem difficult. They are afraid that if they ask for too much, the man will leave. But the truth is, the wrong man will leave no matter what you do, and the right man will step up because he wants to. If your standards push a man away, then he was never meant to stay in the first place. A real man, a man who is serious about you, will want to meet your expectations. He will want to make you feel secure. You will never feel like you are asking for too much when you are with the right person. Another mistake women make is settling for potential. They see glimpses of who a man could be and they hold on to that image instead of facing who he actually is. They convince themselves that if they wait long enough, if they pour enough into him, he will eventually become the man they deserve. But potential is not enough. A man's potential does not make up for his present reality. If he is not showing you love, respect, consistency, and effort now, then there is no guarantee that he ever will. Many women stay in unfulfilling relationships because they have already invested so much time and energy. They tell themselves that they have been through too much together to walk away now. They believe that leaving would mean that everything they put in was wasted. But staying in a relationship where you are not valued is not an investment. It is a loss. Time spent in the wrong relationship does not make it more valuable. It just makes it harder to leave. When you accept less, you also send a message to yourself about what you believe you deserve. If you allow mistreatment, if you settle for less than you need, you start to internalize the idea that this is the best you can get. But you deserve to be loved fully, not conditionally. You deserve effort, not excuses. You deserve someone who chooses you every single day, not just when it's convenient for them. The right man will not require you to shrink yourself, to accept less, or to tolerate disrespect. The right man will love you the way you deserve from the very beginning. He will not play games. He will not make you question your worth. And he will not make you feel like you are asking for too much. The love you accept is the love you will receive. So never settle for anything less than what you truly deserve. Too many women lose themselves in relationships because they pour everything they have into a man and forget about themselves in the process. They start off as independent, confident individuals with their own goals, dreams, and interests. But the moment they get into a relationship, they shift their entire focus to making the man happy. They put his needs before their own, his dreams above theirs, and his happiness at the center of their world. Before they know it, they have completely abandoned the things that once made them feel fulfilled. At first, it may feel like love. You want to spend all your time with him, you want to make him happy, and you want to show him that you care. But slowly, without even realizing it, you start neglecting yourself. You cancel plans with friends, stop focusing on your career, put your hobbies on the back burner, and make him the priority in every decision you make. Over time, your identity becomes tied to the relationship, and without it, you start feeling lost. A healthy relationship does not require you to give up who you are. The right man will love you for the woman you were before he met you, the woman with ambition, passion, and a full life of her own. He will encourage you to keep being that woman, not expect you to give it all up for him. When you lose yourself in a relationship, you are not building love. You are building dependence. And dependence is not love. Many women mistake sacrifice for love. They believe that the more they give up, the more valuable they will be to a man. They think that if they devote all their time and energy to him, he will see their worth and appreciate them more. But in reality, losing yourself does not make a man love you more. It makes him take you for granted. When you stop prioritizing yourself, he stops seeing the strong, confident woman he was attracted to in the first place. Men do not fall in love with women who make them their entire world. They fall in love with women who have a world of their own. A woman with purpose, confidence, and independence is far more attractive than a woman who is solely focused on pleasing a man. When you keep your own identity, you bring value to the relationship because you are not just there to serve him, you are there as an equal partner with your own dreams and desire. Some women fear that if they focus on themselves, they will push a man away. They worry that if they set boundaries, maintain their independence, and prioritize their own happiness, he will think they don't care. But the right man will not feel threatened by your independence. He will respect it. A man who truly loves you will want to see you thriving, not shrinking yourself to fit into his life. Losing yourself in a relationship can also lead to resentment. When you give up everything for a man and he does not reciprocate in the way you expected, frustration builds. You start feeling unappreciated, undervalued, and even invisible. You may not even recognize yourself anymore because you have spent so much time molding yourself into what you thought he wanted. The problem is when you sacrifice too much of yourself, you eventually realize that you are not happy, and that is when the relationship starts to break down. A strong, lasting relationship is built on balance. You should be able to love a man deeply while still loving yourself. You should be able to support his dreams while still chasing your own. You should be able to give to the relationship without losing your sense of self. A healthy love will never require you to abandon your own happiness. Many women wake up one day and realize they have no idea who they are outside of their relationship. They don't know what makes them happy anymore, what their passions are, or even what they truly want in life. That happens when you make a man the center of your existence instead of making him a part of the beautiful, full life you already have. You should never feel like you have to disappear into a relationship in order to keep it. The right man will love you for who you are, not for how much of yourself you are willing to give up. One of the biggest mistakes a woman can make in a relationship is allowing a man to dictate her worth. Too many women rely on a man's validation to feel beautiful, smart, or valuable. They wait for his compliments to feel confident, for his attention to feel wanted, and for his commitment to feel worthy of love. But when your self-worth depends on a man, you give him the power to control how you feel about yourself. If he treats you well, you feel good. If he pulls away, ignores you, or doesn't appreciate you, you start doubting yourself. That is a dangerous position to be in because it means your happiness is no longer in your own hands. A man should enhance your confidence, not create it. Your worth should be something you carry with you no matter what, not something that rises and falls based on how a man feels about you. If a man's attention is the only thing making you feel beautiful, then what happens when he stops giving it? If his approval is what makes you feel valuable, then what happens when he starts treating you like an option? You cannot let someone else determine how you see yourself. Some women lower their standards and accept treatment they know they don't deserve because they don't believe they can do better. They think, at least he's here, or at least he chooses me sometimes. But just because a man is in your life does not mean he is good for you. Just because he gives you attention does not mean he values you. And just because he says he loves you does not mean he treats you with love. When you allow a man to define your worth, you start making decisions from a place of fear instead of confidence. You stay in relationships that don't fulfill you because you're afraid of being alone. You tolerate disrespect because you don't want to lose his validation. You shrink yourself, change yourself, and silence your needs because you think that's what it takes to keep him interested. But a relationship should never require you to prove your worth. The right man will recognize your value without you having to beg for his attention or settle for crumbs of affection. Women who struggle with self-worth often attract the wrong kind of men. Men who see their insecurity and take advantage of it. These men know that as long as they give you just enough attention, just enough sweet words, and just enough affection, you will stay, even if they are inconsistent, unreliable, or emotionally unavailable. They know you will hold on to the good moments and ignore the bad because you are looking for validation instead of love. But love is not supposed to feel like a roller coaster. Real love is steady, consistent, and secure.